Warning, the player selections you're about to see may flop miserably. FPL TV cannot be held responsible for any of your own transfer shockers. Please, FPL responsibly.
Hey guys, and welcome back to the Point Predictor, the series where I pick 5 players that I think will score 4 points or more in the upcoming FPL Gameweek. Within these predictions, I can only select one player per club, and I must follow the categories shown on screen. If you enjoy the Point Predictor series, then be sure to support the channel by dropping a like and getting subscribed to FPL TV. Before I start making my picks for Game Week 4, let's quickly see how I got on with Game Week 3's predictions. Marcus Alonso once again returned a double-digit haul, and the reliable Mo Salah produced 8 points with his goal against Brighton. The pick of the bunch in Game Week 3 was Mitrovic, who delivered a whopping 16 points against a Burnley side who are clearly struggling to cope with their European fixtures. There were no returns for Mkhitaryan in his game though, and Aguero was unlucky not to score, hitting the woodwork twice. So that's a respectable 3 out of 5 correct predictions last week. Let's see if we can go one better in Game Week 4 by moving on now to this week's Point Predictor. For my defensive option this game week, I've chosen Arsenal's Nacho Monreal. In recent seasons, you're never certain of a clean sheet with an Arsenal defender, but we've seen already that Monreal can produce at the other end of the pitch, as he scored in Game Week 3. After a few fairly quiet seasons for the Spaniard, he suddenly became an excellent attacking option last year, producing 5 goals in 28 Premier League appearances. Not bad for a defender. My main thought behind selecting him this week though is simply his opponents Cardiff, who are still yet to score a goal in the Premier League this season. Also, they've only produced 5 shots on target in these opening 3 games, so if Arsenal are to get a clean sheet, this could be the one to do it. For my midfielder under the value of 8 million, I've chosen Everton's Theo Walcott. Admittedly, I'm a bit concerned about this choice, mainly because he's by far the most transferred in player for Game Week 4, with over 500,000 managers transferring him in. This usually spells disaster in FPL, but it's difficult to ignore a player in good form with a very nice fixture. Walcott has produced 2 goals and 1 assist in the last 2 games, and he now faces Huddersfield, a side who have conceded the most goals in the league so far with 9. Huddersfield have currently been on the end of 59 shots conceded, the highest of any team, so if Everton can turn up in this game, Walcott surely has a high chance of producing something. For the midfielder of any value, I've selected Chelsea's Eden Hazard. Hazard is a player who has so far returned FPL points in all 3 opening game weeks. It's a pretty impressive stat when considering he only made cameo appearances in the opening 2 games due to his long World Cup campaign. In Game Week 3, his first start for Chelsea this season, he put on a very impressive display, scoring and producing 5 goal attempts. He now faces Bournemouth in Game Week 4, a team that he boasts a particularly good record against. Bournemouth have been very impressive so far this season, but Hazard clearly likes to score against them, with 5 goals in 6 Premier League games against the Cherries. For the budget forward, under the value of 8 million, this week I'm going for Wilfried Zaha. Although the Crystal Palace man hasn't hit the ground running in terms of FPL points, he still managed to score a goal in 2 of the opening 3 games. He now faces Southampton in Game Week 4, a side who are on the back of 2 defeats and are winless so far this season. Being 3 games in, Southampton's defensive stats aren't particularly bad, but I simply fancy Palace to win this one, and if Palace are winning games, it usually means Zaha's getting involved in the action. For the any priced forward, I'm going to have to stick by Sergio Aguero this game week. Heading into Game Week 4, the Man City forward still remains number 1 for goal attempts this season with 16. As mentioned earlier, he was extremely unlucky not to score against Wolves, hitting the woodwork on 2 occasions and still looked extremely dangerous. His opponents Newcastle had an incredibly low 19% possession at home to Chelsea last week, so I dread to think what the stats will be in this game away to possession-based Man City. I'm sure they'll be setting up to frustrate City, but I can only see one winner here, and Aguero should return the points. And that wraps up Game Week 4's Point Predictor. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and if so, don't forget to support the channel by liking and subscribing to FPL TV. Thanks to all of you for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next video.